Have you guys ever wanted a better way to make great soil than buying expensive bags every year? Well, here at the farm, with everything we got going on with our ducks, our goose, our chickens, our goats, everything else, we really need as much help as we can get. And moving around compost and garden soil all the time takes a lot of work. So we have a better way. It's called HugelKultur. HugelKultur, or how we just call it, HugelKultur. It's a method that's been used for hundreds of years in Germany, actually. It's a method of piling logs, twigs, garden soil, compost, old sod, everything else into either a pile or into a garden box like we will do, and basically letting it decompose over a few years, and so as you're going, you get new and new compost every single year without having to do anything. The advantages are pretty numerous to using this method for your garden boxes, or just even if you're doing the piles. So we'll start off with a couple and we'll go through more as we start building our own HugelKultur in our garden box. Number one, this method has been demonstrated to work really well in all climates, including desert climates like we're at here. And that's just because it really has nothing to do with the climate itself, but what you put in to the piles. And number two, it can either be like a pile format, like a pyramid almost, or like a line, kind of like a triangle and a line, or it can even be in a garden box like we're gonna do. So for us, we're going to be using our garden box from a previous video. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check the link up above or in the description below to see that video first. And then to get started here, we're gonna take a bunch of old, we have pallet wood that's been sitting out for a long time, and some old 2x4s that we're gonna toss in the bottom of our garden box to get started. But definitely the more rotten the wood, the better. You can use almost any type of wood in this. Just remember, the softer wood is going to decompose faster and it'll get you that awesome compost even quicker. And that leads into the third advantage of using this method. So once you get this HugelKultur going, especially if you start in the winter time, it will start decomposing and it'll allow you to plant in your garden box earlier in the year because your soil will actually be warmer than the outside natural soil. And that's just because the wood and branches and stuff like that is starting to decompose inside the garden box already and heating up the soil. Now second, you're going to take small branches, twigs and stuff like that and place it on top of your first layer. In our case, we're going to place it on top of our 2x4s and stuff like that. We don't have a whole lot of trees here, but we got these from our in-laws. After this, we're going to put a layer of dirt on top of this. We're just going to use dirt that we have on our property here and use our tractor to dump it on top. Then just make sure to move everything around so you get dirt settled into the open spaces that's inside of there between all the twigs and the 2x4s and everything, which will actually lead us into the fourth advantage of using this method. This soil is actually going to be self-tilling. I know that sounds absolutely crazy and nuts, but it is. And it's not going to be a fully turned over like you would think, but what's going to happen is those twigs, those 2x4s are going to decompose and create spaces inside of your soil. And then the soil is kind of going to fill down and then move around and stuff like that just from natural movement. And so yes, it will self-till and move the garden soil around a bit. So outside, if you have old grass or sod that you can use, you can start by putting it on top of this. Then on top of that, we're going to take any sort of plant waste or compost. So in our case, we have a ton of things like strawberry clippings, banana peels, that kind of stuff. If you have that and or just compost, you can put that on top of this layer here, and this will start that composting process really quickly. Now we'll go ahead and cover the rest of this with just normal garden dirt or garden soil. If you have any more stuff like left over that you bought from the year, you can put that in here as well. At this point, you can leave it sit and rest for a few months, or you can plant immediately into it. This would be the case that, say, if you did this in the wintertime, you'll leave it sit for a few months and then you can start planting in early spring. Which leads us into the fifth advantage of using this method, and that is this has a lifespan of 5 to 6 years. Which afterwards they do need to be rebuilt and redone, but can you imagine, you don't have to add any new garden soil, any new compost to this for 5 to 6 years. It will keep growing and giving you really good soil each and every year. So no more buying multiple bags of expensive garden soil for your garden boxes each and every year. If you guys like this video, click the subscribe button below and the bell icon to be notified of all of our new videos that do come out each and every week. We do have a new video about drip irrigation, how to set that up, the different types of lines, everything else like that, which will be coming out here in a couple weeks. So check that out. Thanks guys. Have a good one.